It's got different cultures and communities, and we're all really living together very well in Levy. So Levy has my heart. But Burnage is where I'm from. And we also call it Bernard. And we call it Bernard because we try to sound posh. Because the only really thing we have in Burnage is a really big Tesco. Tesco superstore. But we got the biggest claim to fame, and you know what I'm about to say, and that's the Gallagher brothers. Also known as Oasis. They're from Burnage, so that makes it extra special. And then we've got Longsight, where we are here today, and the buzz in Longsight is always buzzing. It's one of the most culturally diverse places in the UK, and lots of languages and so many shops from all around the world. When you come into Longsight, it's just another vibe. And then there's Denton, and it's on the other side of the motorway. And I haven't really trekked to Denton very much, I'm going to be very honest with you. But it seems like a very, very lovely place. And it may need reform, like lots of the other wards, but it does not need reform. Because reform think they can win here, and we won't let them. Because we can't let them. Reform won't win because my ward is far too precious to be torn apart by people whose only real politics is division. I don't want to even imagine an election day headline screaming, Longsight elects a Reform MP. That's unacceptable and unforgivable. It's completely unforgivable. It's a real-life horror story. And, to even think that we could possibly have a reform here makes my heart and chest really tight and makes me feel sick to the pit of my stomach. And, and they only have one message for me, that people like me don't belong here, so they cannot win. And whilst I was writing this, I was like, why have I not mentioned Labour once? Are they invisible? I mean, after all, this is Labour Heartland. This is a Labour constituency, so why am I not mentioning Labour? And I realise it's trauma. It's trauma from being betrayed by them. And we've been betrayed by them for far so long that we've actually digested it. And we've healed. And, we've come to the point where we realise that they're not the enemy. They're their own enemy. They are literally their own enemy, and I do nothing but pity Labour. But hope has arrived, and thank you for turning out in your droves to campaign. And we've just started. On Wednesday, we had a van that went round the constituency, and we delivered 20,000 leaflets in one day. I've got leaflets stored at home, and my doorbell does not stop buzzing. I've got people from coming up and down the Greater Manchester. They're coming from so far, and they're actually coming now across the country. And I've heard there's plenty of people across the country in the audience today, so thank you. I have people calling me saying I'm not green, and I don't care. I don't want to pay £6 membership either. But I want to come out and I want to campaign for you, because you have to win. And that's where we come in, the Greens. We come in, we offer light, we offer hope, and hope is real. And since Zack Polanski was unleashed to us, our Green Party membership has nearly tripled. From around 68,000 in August last year, we are now at around 190,000. The trajectory means that we can only go up. We can only continue to increase our numbers. We are now the cool kids in town. And so that, I'm so proud to hand over to Zack to say many words and to announce our next new Green MP.
Thank you very much. Before I get to the business at hand, I just want to thank Asma both for that brilliant speech and also I hadn't planned to do this, which is never a good start, but here we go anyway. Just as I was listening to Asma, it was just making me reflect on when Asma first co-founded the Muslim Greens, and I went to an event not a million miles away from here, where I saw Asma speak for the first time. And I just realised that was it. It was the combination of our old historical roots as a Green Party and the new kind of vision of where the Green Party was going. And one of the first things Asma said was very openly that she joined the Green Party because of our stance against the genocide in Gaza, but she stayed because of our environmental policies, our social justice policies. And that right there is environmental, social, racial and economic justice. And that right there is the Green Party. Thank you, Asma. Westminster, the Houses of Parliament. Leaky roofs, crumbling walls. I think they need a plumber. And a plasterer. And we happen to have one woman who can do both. Now, voting for the Green Party is about the people of Gorton and Denton. It's about reducing their bills. It's about defending the National Health Service. It's about rebuilding our public services. But this election right here is a battle for the soul of our nation. And the dividing lines could not be clearer. We have a plumber from Manchester who knows the value of work. And they have a right-wing pundit who makes money from stoking division on TV. We have a party that is made up of community, that is people-powered. They have a party funded by dodgy donors, oil and gas, multimillionaires and billionaires. They have hate. We have hope. And friends, hope will win. A few years ago, I'm visiting Manchester. I'm on one of my election tours visiting local elections. And I meet Hannah for the first time. I don't just meet Hannah, I meet some huge greyhounds. Pretty huge. In fact, I think they're in the room somewhere. There we go, at the back. Got to make sure the greyhounds get a shot. You'll be hearing a lot over the next few days about plumbing and greyhounds. Two themes that will emerge. And when I met Hannah, I was instantly struck by her kindness, her warmth, and her passion for justice. And she told me very quickly, as I was stroking the dogs and trying to just give attention to the dogs, she told me about greyhound racing and all the work that she'd been doing with various campaigns to get it banned. And I said, did you know about Green Party policy, that you vote on it and that it's members-led? She got instantly interested. Now, I have this conversation with lots of people all the time, and lots of people nod at me, and then they carry on their lives. Not Hannah. Hannah almost immediately got to work. She wrote a motion with other people, she lobbied for the motion, and she got it passed at conference. And this isn't just about greyhounds, and as someone who loves dogs, it would be fine if it was. But actually, it's about the whole gambling industry, how it destroys people's lives. But it reflects the kind of person Hannah is. Someone who hears injustice, knows that there's something she can do about it and get stuff done. And that's exactly what a Green MP is like. And that's exactly why we need to get Hannah elected in the next 28 days. 20,000 leaflets delivered the other day, but we're not complacent. That is just the beginning. This is going to be work, it is going to be a campaign, but we are going to love every single moment, because right here in Gorton and Denton, there is a chance, not just a chance, we will make history. We are going to go out and knock on every door we can, have every conversation we have. So thank you for every single thing that you're going to do over the next month, because it is going to be a ride. And it is my absolute privilege, it's always an honour, to introduce candidates to the stage. But this for me isn't just a candidate. This is a close friend. This is a special person who I know is going to represent us amazingly on the national stage. Please welcome to the stage Manchester's first Green MP, or soon to be, Hannah Spencer!
Thank you so much, everybody. Sorry, this is just stuffed into my pocket and written at 2 a.m. Thank you for bearing with me. And thank you to you all for being here. As some of you know, I was actually supposed to be in college today. Thanks to my tutor Mark for letting me swing a day off. I promise I'll be back on Monday, cracking, back on with the plastering. And thank you to all the members in Tameside and Manchester who voted for me, who have put their trust into me. So hello, my name is Hannah Spencer. I didn't grow up planning on being a politician. I didn't go to university to study politics. I'm a plumber here in Manchester. I fix homes for a living. I spend my days in people's kitchens, in their bathrooms and their front rooms, seeing firsthand how people are really coping. And what I've seen time and time again is people struggling. Now, everyone in this city region knows what it's like to struggle. And when I think back to the times that I've struggled, I think about the people who helped me to struggle just a little bit less. And so last year, when I, a woman with the absolute audacity to have a place in politics, when I received intense social media abuse, I think about my friend who I met through the mosque, who checked in with me, who took me out for a brew and a massive piece of cake. And when I lost my beloved greyhound Elsie suddenly, I think of my wonderful friend Asma, who sent me beautiful quotes about animals and peace and being kind to myself. I think about the flowers given to me by women I met through a group called Rosebuds. So sorry. The flowers that made me smile through my tears every time I walked into my kitchen. And my life is full of stories like this. I've been helped by my Muslim friends, just as I've been helped by my migrant friends, by my work friends, because we are all here as neighbours. People who have fought for me and who have stood alongside with me. And the thing is, about us here in this city, we don't believe that these people are our enemies. Despite what every divisive politician or right-wing rag will try to shove down our throats, we're not buying it. Because this is Manchester and we do things differently here. we're not divided by our differences, we're strengthened by them. We stand shoulder to shoulder with each other, always. Because we are the great-great-great-grandchildren of the Mancunian cotton workers who refused to handle cotton that was picked by slaves. This stuff runs through our blood. And the truth is, Muslims don't keep me awake at night. I don't lose sleep over trans people trying to exist in peace. I don't lie in bed anxious about the migrants who come here to do the jobs that need doing. What keeps me up at night is child poverty. It's the 50% of people who live here in insecure rented accommodation. I worry about the people who work and still can't give their kids food, let alone a new school uniform. I worry about those who really can't work and have absolutely nothing. I worry about the men that I work with who are my friends and how they're at more risk of suicide than dying by any other means. I think about my friend Vicky, who was killed along with her friend 3 days before Christmas, killed by a car when they were just out for a walk. I worry about my colleagues who are veterans, who put everything on the line and then who come home to find that they're not valued at all, despite everything that they did for us. And I worry about the 3 women a week who are killed by a current or former partner. Because these are the things that keep me awake at night. In this city, our struggles, and we will not have divisive politicians fly in to blame anyone else. They need to start taking responsibility. Because we're not a poor country and we are not a poor city, but government after government has treated us poorly. That's why my number 1 priority will always be taking action to cut the cost of living. So that's cheaper bills through public ownership, that's rent controls, free bus travel for young people. It means insulating homes and doing it properly. Because while Reform refuse to make the richest in society pay their fair share, and while they flirt with privatising the NHS, I will be a champion for slashing inequality, rewiring our economy to work for all of us and giving the people physical and mental health care that they need. And like so many people in this place, I don't believe that solidarity ends on our streets. I don't believe it ends in our towns or on the UK's borders. And that's why I will be laser focused as your MP on ending Britain's enabling of Israel's genocide. And that means an end That means an end to all arms sales and the sharing of military intelligence, because Matt Goodwin might see Israel as Britain's ally, but I certainly do not. And now people like me, doing jobs like mine, we're seen as rich pickings for reform, and we've been ignored by mainstream politics for decades. We're told we're thick, we're stupid, we're uneducated, we get snooty looks if we go somewhere in our work uniforms, but we're the ones who keep stuff moving, and if we stop, absolutely everything stops. And we hold the power, and we're not daft, we see through it, and we're coming for Parliament. We deserve a seat wherever the decisions are being made. The shiny halls of Westminster will no longer be hogged by the elite. We will fill those benches with tradespeople, with cleaners, with nurses, with taxi drivers, with anyone who has always been shut out. Because it starts with us here in the place that I call home. Now, people here are fed up with Labour U-turns, stitch-ups and lies. They'll stitch up their own mayor and they'll do the same to the rest of us. And Gorton and Denton will reject a reform. A party that loves Trump, that is backed by big finance, and an extreme candidate who sees this place as just a rung on the radical right career ladder. And this election is a clear choice. Keir Starmer was too scared to let their members choose the candidate that they wanted. Nigel Farage has parachuted in a GB News presenter. But the Greens chose me, a local plumber. And I know I am soon to be Reform's worst nightmare. I know this place so well. I've walked my greyhounds on pretty much every street in Levenshulme. There's not a bin or a lamppost that they haven't sniffed. And I can't wait to get back to the pavements and to carry on meeting amazing people and spreading the word that the Greens are going to win. And to all of us, to everyone in this place who cares about each other, whether you have or whether you have not, we are not as weak as Reform seem to think that we are. And in the face of hatred, we will do what we always do. We will stick together and we will crack on, because this is Manchester and we do things differently here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do I have that now?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got a short question and answers now. We've got some questions coming from the media. So I think Zack and Hannah are going to take a seat up on stage. We're going to do a short question and answer session, and then there'll be a chance for photographs just outside after that as well. So Zack and Hannah, if you'd like to go, and I'll pass over to Zack.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Not just a plumber, but moves furniture as well. Thank you. Fantastic. So we're going to begin quite rightly with the Manchester Evening News and George. I might need the mic just for the cameras.
So the Greens do have some councillors represented around Manchester, but it's around the South Manchester and pretty much in the Trafford area at the moment, not so much in East Manchester and Tameside. And you seem to think this is a two-horse race between you and Reform. So why do you think that, considering the history of the Green success or lack of success in elections in this area of the city region?
Thank you, George. I am one of the councillors in Hale, and I am so proud that people in Hale elected me to represent them as their local councillor. It's a place unlike anywhere I've known before, and it's really proved to me that people who sometimes have a bit more than others still deeply, deeply care about other people. I hear constantly from residents there how much they worry about people who have less than them. And we know that our policies have a broad appeal to everybody in society, and there's absolutely no reason why anybody, anywhere across the city region could end up with Green councillors and Green MPs.
Next we've got Anna from BBC Northwest Tonight.
Hi there, I'm just at the back. I just wondered what your policies are for Gorton and Denton, big green initiatives sprung up by the Mayor for Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, like the Clean Air Zone, was a spectacular disaster. I just wonder if Greater Manchester is really ready for green policies.
Thank you. So I know exactly why we need a Green MP here, because I sat at the hustings as the other politicians argued amongst themselves about the Clean Air Zone, and they constantly talked about van drivers. And as I sat and looked at them all bicker with each other, I doubted whether any of them had ever been in a van, let alone driven one. And I thought about the hours that I spend in traffic, going to customers' houses in my van, breathing in the pollution of the other vehicles around me. And each time that happens, I think there must be a better way that we can do this. But this is a problem when Westminster doesn't have people like us in the room making the decisions, and that is why people need a Green MP.
I don't know about you all, but I'm really starting to think we need to get Hannah elected. Pat from PA.
Hannah, Matt Goodwin says you're more interested in Gaza than Gorton. What do you say?
I think it's a bit rich, considering, I mean, I don't think he's ever really spent that much time here. He's certainly not someone that I've ever seen in that Asda when I've been doing my big shop. So I think it's really brave of him to assume that he knows what residents want. And I think a lot of people here will tell you that we care about many different issues. Every single one of us cares about lots of different things. And I'd like to see him come here and actually learn about the people here, because this place is the place that I've called home for all of my life. And I think if somebody's just going to bust themselves in and speak on behalf of other people, they're going to learn a lot when they're here.
Next we've got Adam from Valley Radio.
A question for each of you, if that's okay. Hannah, starting with you, in your mayoral campaign in 2024, you said you were really fed up with the same old stuff being offered by mainstream politics. Is that still the case? And Zack, for you, in terms of selection, how big of a how quick of a decision did you have to make with obviously this by-election being called in such a short space of time?
Thank you. I have been fed up with mainstream politics for a really long time, and it was the years that I spent living in this constituency that made me political before I even really realised what being political meant. It was here where I had some challenges, like a lot of people have, and I started to question everything around me. And as soon as I realised that I could make a change and that that was through politics, I could see what we need to do to have better representation of people from all backgrounds speaking up for us in Parliament. And I can see that I'm not the only one that's very fed up with mainstream politics. We've seen our huge surge in members, which I think speaks for everything really, that so many people are coming to us now to find a home with each other and campaign to get a Green MP, which is absolutely within our reach.
Thank you, Adam. I'm really proud of our selection process. Lots of journalists have asked me in the last week, who's going to be your candidate? Who's going to be your candidate? And were shocked when I was like, I don't know. And they're like, you're the leader and you don't know. And I'm like, well, it's because we're a genuinely truly democratic party. I do want to take a moment to thank Sarah and Fessel for also putting themselves forward and all the work they put there. And the final thing I'd say on that is they have taken people for granted. They've taken votes for granted, and we've seen that with the way they stitched up Andy Burnham too. And people aren't going to put up with that anymore, so they have blown it. And that's why this race is a race between the Reform Party and Hannah Spencer. My odds are on the Green Party. Thank you. We've got James from the Daily Mail.
Thank you. Yes, question for Hannah. Rob Ford has said that this election will be a tale of two Manchesters, with the Greens focusing on the Manchester wards and Reform targeting Denton. So what would you say about how you can appeal to predominantly white working class voters in Denton?
Do you want me to do that speech again, or no? Yeah, I get it. There's not a single person you couldn't find a single person that could be from every background in this constituency, because it is so diverse. But that absolutely is my background, and it's taken, like a lot of people, it takes you a long time to become proud of that, because you're often made to feel like that's quite a bad thing. But I know from my friends and colleagues that I speak to who maybe on the surface disagree with me about things, I know that deep down we are very good and very caring people, and I know that is the same across the constituency. I don't want anyone to just assume that an entire group of people is going to vote for one political party because they all look and sound similar. We know that that's not the case, and we know I went from voting for Labour to now standing, I went from voting for Andy Burnham to standing against him in an election. So I think we know that we can appeal broadly to all parts of this constituency, and I'm really proud to stand up and say that I'm proud of my background, and I will speak up for those people.
In an unusual move, before I take a question, it's not me buttering you up, please give love to independent media. This is Turn Left, who run a brilliant YouTube channel every single night doing live news broadcasts. Callum, be nice now. So
Thank you very much.
Joking, ask what you want.
Callum Taylor, Turn Left Media. I have two questions, if I may, one for Zack and one for Hannah. For Zack, the Green Party came third here in 2024 with 13.2% of the vote. Since your leadership of the party, obviously popularity for Greens has grown exponentially. How do you plan to reach out to the diverse communities within Gorton and Denton and encourage more people to vote Green? And for Hannah, a report last year found that Gorton was one of the areas, well, actually the area with the highest levels of fuel poverty in the northwest, with local rates in the area at 23.7%. If elected, what would you do to help locals get out of fuel poverty across the constituency?
Thank you. So there's a couple of things I'd answer, first of all. So where we won MPs at the last general election, some of those came from third and indeed fourth place. So we know exactly how to get that kind of level of success. Having said that, for all my fighting talk today, there's not a shred of complacency. I know Hannah and, in fact, the entire team, in fact, the whole Green Party, are going to be working incredibly hard to not take one vote for granted. We're going to be having conversations. Now, whether that's with diverse communities or whatever the community might be, we know inequality hits you wherever you are. So many people right now feel like they're running just to keep up. They know that their rent bills are going up, water bills are going up, energy bills are going up. These issues affect every single community. So we're going to have a relentless focus on inequality, the cost of living, and everything that Hannah just spoke about. It's also true there are issues around the world that we care about as well, and we're not going to be shy to talk about justice. We can do more than one thing at once. In fact, we must do more than one thing at once. And we'll absolutely have a campaign that, yes, focuses on international justice, but puts inequality, particularly for the people of Gorton and Denton, at the heart of it.
Thank you for the question. So I think fuel poverty is what comes from not having people from different trades and occupations in the rooms where decisions are being made, because plumbers like me will have been saying for decades that we have the leakiest homes in Europe. When you're fitting a central heating system, whatever the heating source, and you know that half of that is going out of the house, those skilled and experienced people will have been able to advise for years about what measures need to be taken. But the problem is, politics has not been accessible to people, and this is what we're going to change, and that is how we're going to change it, so that fuel poverty no longer becomes something that we talk about.
And we've got Megan from the New Statesman.
Hi. Obviously, Andy Burnham running was, it took up a lot of my weekend covering it. But he's now been blocked by the Labour Party, and I wondered, the Greens seem pretty confident about being the progressive choice here, but I wondered whether you'd be as confident if Andy Burnham had been allowed to run.
I think we would be as confident in terms of we know that we're the Progressive Party. Andy Burnham is still a man who has run under a Labour ticket, and Labour is still the party that wanted to slash disability benefits, but was shamed not to do it. The Labour Party have eventually abolished the two-child benefit cap, but it took them 18 months of thousands of children being in poverty, and Labour are still the party that has armed a genocide. I think, to be totally blunt about it, I think we would have had a harder job with Andy Burnham, because there's no doubting his popularity in Manchester. But at the same time, if people want a party that will absolutely stand against power and wealth, a party that is willing to speak the truth, and a party that is willing to have a genuinely democratic contest that isn't stitched up, where, as Hannah put it, a local plumber wins because she's the best candidate for the job, then that is the Green Party, and the Green Party doesn't need Andy Burnham. And finally, we've got Claire from Channel 4.
Hiya, I'm back here. Hiya.
Thank you.
It's a bit frivolous, I'm sorry. I feel a bit sheepish, sorry. If you win, Hannah, are the greyhounds going up and down on the train with you?
I don't know if anyone has fully seen, but I have got my 4 massive greyhounds here with me. And I want to talk for a minute, if that's okay, about Olive, one of my greyhounds, who lived with me when I lived in this constituency. And not only did Olive live with me, in the years before I homed her, she raced at the greyhound track just down the road from us in Gorton. And that was a place where, when I got my greyhounds, they opened my eyes to the greyhound industry. I knew a bit about it, but I didn't know a lot about it. I had a lot of friends and people that I worked with who used to go for a night at the dogs. But then I got my first greyhound, Graham, and wow, he opened my eyes totally to the harm that they suffer whilst they're being forced to race. And he taught me a lot. I'm going to get emotional about a lot of stuff, so I'm going to try not to cry. He taught me a lot about resilience and not quite fitting into a box, and what it means to be accepted without anyone trying to change it, because he was a very, very unusual dog. He was a dog that wasn't a dog. But it also opened my eyes to the gambling industry. Like, as Zack said, those years that I lived there where my eyes were being forced wide open, because I started to question then, when I was stood outside that stadium, handing out leaflets, having kind, gentle conversations with people about the greyhound racing industry. I saw my work colleague go in with his son, and then I thought about my friend who has a gambling addiction and who lost his wages in one afternoon on his phone on the Friday that we got paid. And I thought about how all of these things are linked. And then I used to think about when I walked down the high street and why our high street has more betting shops and some areas don't. And so I talk quite a lot about my greyhounds really shaping me, but I think that was the key at a time in my life when, like so many of us, we just had everyday challenges, but it started to make me realise this system has been built a certain way, and this system doesn't have to be like that. And I will always thank my greyhounds for showing me that, but I will thank everybody else who is along here on this journey, because I know that every single one of us has had a similar experience like that. And so I don't know if I'll get 4 of them on a train. I think I would definitely need volunteers to come and help with that. So if you're interested, first hand gone up there, second hand, great. Do you know what? I think we'll be all right. Thank you.
One more time for the next MP for Gorton and Denton, Hannah Spencer. And now, really excitingly, Steve with some housekeeping.
I mean, how would you follow that, right? Bear with us for 1 minute. There's a few logistics that we need to work through. So what happens now is that everybody in a minute, not now, in a minute is going to go outside for some photographs. And then all of our budding activists, our team here is going to coordinate and get you out, delivering leaflets, knocking on doors, what we're going to do to win this election. And then separately, we're going to bring Zack and Hannah back in here for members of the media, and we've got a interview rota to then go through the interviews. So I believe Miles, who is our campaigns manager, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. Hello.